to the channel. Now you may find this hard to believe, but I actually bought this on purpose. It's a crotch piece of laburnum, and it certainly has one or two problems, but in my opinion it's got an awful lot of charm and potential. I think what we're going to do with it is to create some sort of open form in here, so possibly a vase, possibly a large bowl, something like that. But I think the character of this wood can be really brought out. I just hope that the rot I can see isn't too deep into this piece. Now initially we need to find a flat area on the top between these three key points so I can get it safely onto the lathe. We're going to mount it that way, probably between centres, and turn a chuck grip on the bottom, a nice big tenon there, so we can then turn it round and start creating something interesting from it. Right, I'm going to get a forcener bit out and try and flatten off a bit of this area, and then we shall get started. Right, that should do it. There. Okay, we're about ready. I'm all sharpened up. We're going to be initially turning at about 500, 550 RPM, and it's going to be a slightly rocky ride at the start because it is still a little bit out of balance. I'm going to start working up the edges just to see what this wood is like underneath, get rid of some of the surface bark, and then we'll see where we go from there. Face shield will be on. We'll get started. Okay, so far so good. It's quite soft at the moment, which isn't always good news. Okay, I'm just going to start working away at these higher points here and take them in a bit. I think it'd be easier now before we then do it when we turn it around. Okay, what amazing grain. We've got a few cracks and splits, but I don't think they're going to be deal breakers in any way whatsoever. Keeps on slipping itself on the drive spur, so I'm gonna have to tighten this up a little bit. We'll see what's going on at the top. Although I may be time to create my tenon and start turning it around, I think, because I don't think that drive spur is going to hold. Okay, that's the tenon made. So I'll get this in the big jaws. We shall turn it round. Okay, I've just sharpened up again. we're turned round with the 100mm jaws. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time working in from this way to see what the wood's like in here on these extremities, to see what's the best way going forward. Fair amount of rot in there. Looks okay. Bark, maybe a bit of rot. This is the area we're going to have a bit of concern with. Right, let's go a bit further. Okay, it's coming on. I'm thinking like a more of a kind of like a fingers out kind of shape on this. So I'm just gonna start cutting in a little bit this way to create more of an angle at the top as opposed to going straight down. Can't wait to finish this. The grain is just looking absolutely beautiful. I do love laburnum. Okay, it's starting to look nice. I'm trying to create a slightly hourglass. So broader at the base, in, and then out. Not sure if that's rot or just a darker bit of wood. I think I want to try and get past this knot. That's a bit ugly. So I think just a little bit, another 5mm in, I think. That's definitely getting a more pleasing shape. I'm not going to fill any of these cracks and things. I'm just going to treat it with love and care, I think. Right, a bit of inconsistency in that area there, so I'll refine that. And then we'll look at sanding, I think. Look at that. Right, I'll set up for sanding. I'll let you watch the start as usual, but then I'll bring you back at the end. Well, that took a while, but it's really showing up this amazing wood. Now, I'm not going to put a finish on until the end. But I'm going to put a bit of isopropyl on there because I'm dying to see what this looks like when it's got a slightly shinier finish. Wow. I can't wait. Right, we're putting the finish on at the end because I'm going to use a Dutch oil. So I've never used Dutch oil with laburnum before, and I think it's going to be a brilliant combination. Right, okay, let's start hollowing this out. Okay, I'm set up to start hollowing. We're going to take it down pretty much the full length of the Forstner bit with the extension. So we're going to take this slowly. We don't have any tailstock, remember now, so take it nice and easy. Right, just to make this beast a little bit easier to hollow, I'm just going to rotate the headstock outwards so I can see in easier and get into a more comfortable position as I'm doing it. I'll move the cameras as well so you can still see what's going on. Okay, I'm going to start off with a hollowing tool to try and open up this flute area to allow me more access to what's inside. Now we do have an area where a knot is here, and that makes a bit of a mess down this side, so we're going to have to see what happens with that as we're going along. That's all from that area outside. Right, let's get started. Okay, right, I shall set up for sanding. I shall bring you back when it's done. Got quite a bit of work to do on these kind of areas here where it's quite a bit of rotten wood, but we'll figure out what to do there, I'm sure. Right, before I start sanding, I just want to quickly say there is no way I'm going to stick my hand in here when it's turning. So I'm going to go in with my, oh, that won't reach. Okay, I'm going to be making little different things to stick in there to sand. Okay, before we can put a finish on, we've got to take this off and take the tenon off it. So we'll do that now. Okay, we're going to remove the tenon by creating a jam chuck. We've just got this piece of wood in the lathe, and that's going to sit over the top, protected by that piece of cloth. And bring up the tailstock to the original centre hole. Tighten that up until we've got a nice firm hold. That should do it. Now we can turn it off. I'm going to be doing this very, very carefully, very, very slowly. And before we get to the very end, I'm going to take it off and finish it off by hand. Excellent. Right, I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm going to finish that little bit off by hand. Okay, we've sanded up, taken the tenon off. We're all ready to start putting the finish on. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, I've never used Danish oil with laburnum before, and I've got a feeling that hopefully it's going to be a little bit nice. So we're going to try it. Just wait till the helicopter goes over. There you go. Danish oil needs to be built up in layers. You don't put overly thick coats on. You just brush it on and then leave it for however many hours your particular brand of Danish oil requires. This Liberon's superior Danish oil, you can reapply in about 6 hours. But one thing you must do is once you've applied it, there'll be instructions on the type you use about how long you have to leave it before you come back and wipe off the excess. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's quite stunning. Now this is going to take probably, because of all the questionable wood we have in this piece, probably going to take 6 or 7 coats until it's all soaked in and given a nice even finish all the way over. So I'm going to spend the next few days doing this. I shall bring you back when it's finished. I'll let you wash this coat first. If you haven't used Danish oil before, one thing to be very, very careful of, you can put it on with a cloth or a brush, but if you do use a cloth, then make sure you dispose of the cloth or let it dry flat somewhere away from where anything can catch fire, because it can, I mean, it's very rare, but it can catch fire. So just be careful. Okay, there we go. Right, I'm going to come back in about 20 minutes or so and give this a wipe down. But apart from that, I'll be revisiting every 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours, to apply another coat. It's looking good though. And there we go. A laburnum open form vessel or vase made from an old grotty crotch piece. It's amazing what can come out of something which looked so absolutely horrible. But you just have to remember that these crotch pieces, they have such amazing figure in the grain because all the branches coming out create these fantastic whirls and swirls. Well, we've got ripples, we've got all sorts going on in here. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'll leave a beauty shot at the end of this piece, and I'll always put more images on my Facebook and Instagram accounts and the Ko-fi account if you want another look. Now, if you like the video, then I would really appreciate a like and subscribe, etc. And if you may leave a comment as well, then you'll be entered into the giveaway, which is happening very soon, and we'll be giving away this bowl that we made last week. So get your entries in, or just leave a comment and then you're entered, and that's all there is to it. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you next time. Thank you.